Hello everybody, Bradley Sward here, the PacProf, and today we're going to take an introductory look into saving a best score or a high score for a game level of your choosing. So I've already set up the main menu and the gameplay level. There's really not much going on, so let's run that just so you get a quick overview of where I'm coming from before we start actually doing the work. So I have this main menu, no bells and whistles, just here's my little button, and I'd like to put over here somewhere what the best score for the level is. I say we will do that in a couple minutes. So I click on the button just to get it going, and then it brings up, this is our gameplay room, and here's our current score counter over here, and I could just increment it just so we can play around with that value. And then when I'm done, I click level complete, and then theoretically that high score, if it is the best score, will be maintained. So hopefully, when we're done with the end of this video, when I click here, it'll show a 15 here. And if I go back in and try it with 6, it'll still say 15. And then if I, up it to 20, it'll do as such and just show me the 20 there. So that's, very simple. Of course, I mean, very rudimentary high score table for this one level. So our button object just has a left pressed event in it that goes to the next room. The level itself just has 3 objects in it, 2 buttons. One simply just adds 1 to the score when I press it, and the other right now just left press takes me back to the main menu. And in here, I guess this is where we'll put the code to up the high score. So then the gameplay, this score controller here, this is just to show the score on the screen. So I set the score to 0 each time I reset the level, and then I just draw it to the screen. So that's where we're coming from. And we're going to use the global variable approach to solving this problem. And to do so, I'm going to create one object here. Now this is part of the real lecture here, and I'm going to call this the high score controller. And I say keep it open. And then first thing I love doing when I do, I guess keep it open, I OK that so it renames it, otherwise GameMaker has a problem with it. Go into the main menu and put that thing into the room. There's my high score controller. And let's see, I like using this little, I like putting everything up here, all my controllers in the upper left-hand corner. A couple, 2 or 3 of these little blue and red question mark symbols. That's just my conventional way of doing things. So there it is. My object is in the room, and now I have this all going on. So now, what I like to do in this situation for you guys is there's an event that we haven't touched. Generally, I've only counted maybe on one hand how many times I've used this in my lifetime. Game start. So which this is much different than room start or create or anything else. Essentially, this would only occur if this occurred when the game first started. I mean, game start. I mean, it makes sense. That's what it's called. So every time we come back to this main menu room, it won't call this event over and over and over again. Just one time when we start the game. So what I want to do then is set a global variable, global dot, and that's how I tell GameMaker I'm going to use a global variable. I'm going to say globals are kind of frowned upon in today's object-oriented paradigm kind of world, but I think it really simplifies things, at least at this introductory level. So I say global dot, so I tell GameMaker this is a global variable, and I name it whatever I'm going to name it. I'm just going to call it level 1 high score. And then I'm going to copy that so that I don't have to type it out and remember, especially with a video. I make enough mistakes. I don't want to make more while I'm trying to show you guys this stuff. So, or actually I can just copy the whole thing. Excuse me. Okay, so now with that said and done, I can go into my high score controller. I'm sorry, go into the button. See, I already made a mistake. And now with the button, I can draw that information on top of the button. So I can take over a draw event. I just want the normal draw. And then now, because I'm taking over the draw event, I know better than GameMaker what I'm trying to do, so I better be good at it. So I have to do a draw self, otherwise I will not draw the actual button sprite to the screen. And then now, on top of that, the order of operations matter here. I'll pull in and draw a variable. And what I will draw is that global dot level 1 high score relative to my position, and I say just based off of my recollection of how big I made the button. It's 350 and 45 for the numbers. And so let's try that out and see what we get. So there we go, level 1, and there's a nice little 0 there. That's the 0 we initialized the global variable to. So it's working so far. So I click on it, and I add score and all this stuff, and whether I come back, and it's still 0. The color changed, and that's not a big deal. Don't worry about that. That's just a minor detail. But then, like I said, it's not working just yet, so we'll have to fix up the objects inside of the gameplay room. So there, but at least we're drawing something. It's not crashing. That's a big first step. So then, when the level is complete, so, level 1 room. I'm in here. This is come on. There's my whole room. Very exciting stuff. I go into my level 1 complete object. Here is where I can make this thing happen. Inside when I press left, before I go to the main menu, back to the main menu, this is where I can do an if statement. And I can say, if my score is greater than the high score for that level, global.level1 high score, that means that I'm going to change it because now it's a better score than what I had. And so I'm just going to pull in the little, you always have to pull in the start end blocks for every if statement you do, especially in drag and drop and in code as well, like GameMaker language code. So there we go. So then if that's the case, then I just say set the global variable to score, because then that variable will be modified to whatever the score is at the current time. And I think that's it. So there's my 0. Click on the guy. Add. Lucky 7. Level complete. Come back. And there's my 7. It's maintained that information from room to room. Click again. How about 3? Nope, still 7. Click back. 14. Now it's 14. And then one more time. Who doesn't like clicky games? 21. Come back. And there we go. So from a global variable standpoint, not much to it. Very, relatively simple stuff, because you don't have to maintain very much because it's a global variable. You can access it from anywhere at any time. So cool. So if you have any issues with this or any questions, please comment below. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.